Uh, Welcome to the today's class. Today we'll be looking at the contents of the fourth chapter. So before we begin this fourth chapter, that is all about intelligent storage systems. Why does the term intelligent storage system came into the existence where we already had the RAID technology? We have come across the RAID technology and we have seen the storage disk. The point here he tells is that RAID technology, though it had been contributed for enhancing the storage performance and reliability, but where it failed is it failed to meet the performance requirements of the today's applications. Right, especially where it failed is like to get the higher performance, especially in terms of the retrieval of the data and in terms of the IO processing, so and even the utilization of the storage system. So the point came is that as the technology is advancing, they came across the term called as intelligent storage systems. So even this also belongs to the storage system only, but it is more intelligent. So when I say it is more intelligent, it is processed in such a way that it is doing the actions based on its own. So it is performing the operations and it is looking at the contents how it is needed. So why is this storage system intelligent? Because it is highly optimized in terms of IO processing. It is going to meet the requirements, and it is going to manage, allocate, and utilize the storage resources, and also it is providing the storage virtualization. Right, so this has actually increased the what I can say in terms of the performance, in terms of the scalability and availability of the resources. Moving on to the next one is how this intelligent system comprises of. Now, here when we have been seeing what is this intelligent system consisting all about the stuff. So this intelligent storage system, what I've been talking, so it is consisting of the first one is we are having here host. We have this connectivity. You can check this connectivity. We have the components called as front end. We have the cache. We have the backend, and we have the physical disk. Here also, please remember the physical disk are being available. We have the cache, we have the front end. Now, what this front end comprises, what does this front end do? What this cache do? What this back end does? And what this physical disk are going to do? So, these all together is forming the intelligent storage system. So, how are they helpful to make, or I can say that how it is helping to store the data in a very efficient manner, and it is overcoming the RAID technology. Okay, so we'll see that one in the next slide. So the first content what he is going to talk is the front end. In this front end, you can see here there are the host is connected, and it is using the fiber cable for the storage area network, and you can check there are the n number of the ports. So these ports are been transferring the data to the particular, and you can see here the controllers. So this front end is going to take the input from the host, or it is going to transfer the data from the disk to the host as and when required. So it is a two-way. So please remember, for host is requesting for the data from this particular post, and these controllers are going to help. And the data that is being requested, it is coming at a very faster speed back to the host itself. So to transfer the data and all, the controllers, they are using the logics. They are using these transport protocols that I have already discussed in the previous chapters, like fiber channels. Then we are using FICON and all, right? So this is all about the front end. Moving on, the next one is the second component what we are been having is the cache. So cache, when I say, it's a very much important nowadays. You know that your what I say, the systems are having the larger speed. I can say that 4 GB RAM, 6 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM. So they are increasing the performance of the system. Now when I say this speed, then automatically it is connected with the cache. When I say with this cache, what is this cache? Cache is nothing but it is a semiconductor memory where the data is placed temporarily to reduce the time whenever you request for the IO. And also the accessing the data from the cache is very faster when compared to the disk. Now I want to show you how exactly the cache is going to perform. That means how fast we get the data whenever we are being requesting. Now here you can see the cache. Please remember it is a semiconductor memory. That means the contents are volatile. It is not a non volatile memory, it is a volatile memory. The contents will be deleted. And you can see here this cache memory over here where we are being it has been divided in terms of the blocks, in terms of the rows and columns. You can see that one. And this each particular block where the data storage takes place, now each block, what you can see here, this part is called as a page. Hope I think that you people have come across in operating system called as the concept paging, right? So this is the concept of the paging. That means this particular content or the data that user is requesting is available in the cache. So if that particular content is available, then we are going to tag that ram, stating that yes, this is a particular a page available for me and you can store it in the disk. Suppose in case the data is not being available, then what does the cache do? The cache is going to tag from this particular ram memory, and then it is going to take the disk of the content from the disk, and it is making available to the users. Now whenever this happens, remember the read and the write operations takes place here. As we have been always saying, there is something called as a read and a write, and we say that write operation takes more time when compared to read operation. Write in the sense, what happens is every time the data has to be copied from the cache and later returned to the disk. That means it is a complete storage. The data will not be deleted until the disk failure is been occurring. From the cache, it can be deleted at any time. So the writing of the data to the disk is time consuming. So remember, writing of the disk writing of the data to the disk is time consuming. So the operations, so the data, whenever we are reading and writing, we make sure that we transfer it from the cache itself. So this is how the data is being copied to the disk, and from the cache it is being transferred. Then moving on, I when have been said already, the read and write operation is taking place. Then how does this read operation takes place, right? So very simple. You can see that we have a particular host here. We are having the host. From the host, the data is requested. You can see in between there is a cache. The data request goes, and if the data is available in the cache, then the data is sent back to the host. That means the cache is holding the data, the user is requesting. So I say for this one as a hit. Mean whenever you request, you are getting the data. Please remember, whenever you request the data, you get the data from the cache in milliseconds. I can say in terms of milliseconds. Then I call it as a cache hit, or I can say it as a read hit because the data is available. Now in case I request the page or I request the data that is not available in the cache, then what that does the cache do is it will take some time to fetch the data from the disk. Please remember, cache is connected to the disk. From the disk only all the data will be available for us. Now in the second one, you can see the host is requesting for a data and it is not available in the cache. I can say this cache is something like whenever you open any page, recently used. right? You can be seeing that where you have been recently used, you go, you click on that one, and you try to get. So like that it has been acting over there. In the cache, that has been not there, so what it is going to do is it is going to search in the physical disk. That means you go to your drives and you start searching the content. Now when it is been available, that means it is not available in the cache, then what happens that it is called as a miss. Please remember, it doesn't mean that the data is not available on the physical disk. It is available on the physical disk, but it is not available on the cache. So for that purpose, it is called as a read miss. Now, when the data is available in the read disk, it is going to read the data from the disk. Again, it is writing it on the cache, and again, it is been sending it to the host. Now, what is the difference between this hit and the miss? Very simple question. The time it takes to read from the cache is in terms of milliseconds, but when it is not been there, that means it is a miss. You need to search the data from the disk and get it back. That means the time it is being spent in searching. So for that purpose, here the read miss takes place and the time is more. So we are trying to make sure that this is being all avoided, right? Intelligent storage systems are making sure that the data is being available each and every time whenever the user is going to request. So that is the smartness of the intelligent systems. Then once we have seen the read operations, then we look into what is the write operation. Now you can see in this diagram, the write operation is taking place where we have two types of the write operation. One is the write through the cache. The first one is a write through the cache, and the second one is a write back. The first one is a write through the cache. That means whatever we are been writing the data, that means write through the cache. Here I can say that whatever I am writing the data from the particular host, right, whenever I say that means I want to change the contents or anything, I am going to write it through the cache. Remember, as soon as I write it into the cache, the data, it will be transferred to the physical disk. Please remember that one. Whenever I write the data that the host is writing, it is being transferred to the cache, and then it will be directly it will be written to the physical disk. Now you can see that there are so many blocks of the data that is being transferring from the cache to the physical disk, and it is immediately being written. All right, but the what you say here, I can say that when we are been writing it data, the point is here is the data loss is very less. Okay, but whenever I try to write it and whenever it is trying to store the data, it is taking more time. Simple. Whenever it writes, then it is going to write immediately. That means it is not going to wait until and unless it is been there. But in the write back cache, what happens is everything you are going to write it to the cache is storing the data, and what it does is it will take its own time and then it is writing the data back to the physical disk. There is a lot of an advantage in the write back. Simple it is. All the data will be returned to the cache, and the response time will be very faster. It is not going to what you say take much of the time. But what happens here is there is a loss of a data, he tells. How it has been there, suppose in case before I write the data to the cache, if this cache fails, then my whole data, whatever is being sent by the user, that will be lost. So write back means it will take its own time and then it is going to copy to the hard disk. In a write through cache, what happens? As soon as it is getting in the cache, it will not wait for much time. It is going to copy to the hard disk. Very simple. Is like simple, you go to any office, okay, you can see that one. Whenever you go to any office, you take that one and it is being processed at a very faster rate. But usually that never happens. They say that okay, you come after 3 days, you come after 4 days. That means they hold that application and then later they will pass through that one. You can go to the banks. The best example is the banking systems. In the banking systems and all, whenever you go, you request for the money. You go here, you request for the money, and the money is being immediately transferred, and your accounts will be updated. Hope this example is clear. The right through cash, you withdraw the money from the bank, and the withdrawal is being updated immediately to the disk each and every time. But when you write a check, right, you write a check, what happens is, check is being taken, it will be processed, and whatever that processing is been there, it will take at least 2 to 3 days of the time. So it is going to send you a mirror image immediate, first, that this much amount is being transferred, and then there is a transaction id being developed for that one, and later it is being updated. So whenever you give a check, that means it takes 2 to 3 days to process that one. So to write back it to the physical disk, the transactions is going to take place time. In meantime, he tells that if this cache is going to fail, please remember, if this cache fails, then whole data, whatever is available in the cache, it may not be written onto the physical disk. Here there is a loss of the data. There is a huge loss of the data, and here there is a minimum risk, or I can say the minimum loss of the data. So this is the advantage of having the write operations with the write through cache and the write back cache. But I can say that the performance, when I compare, the write through cache is having less performance because it is taking more time, but here the performance is more, right? Because as soon as you are being, it is been processing at a very faster rate, you are not having any sort of the delays. Okay, so the next one is, when I am doing all this write through cache, write back a cache, read hit and write hit, how is this all being managed? Okay, so automatically that management has to be done. That means how this intelligent storage system is performing, so which algorithms it is been using, and storing, chalo, this data is being needed by the user, I should keep it in the cache. This data is not being needed, so whenever he requests, I need to transfer to the user. How is all this being done is using the algorithms. The first one is the least recently used algorithm, and the second one is most recently used algorithm. So I don't want to concentrate more on this one because you have already read these concepts in the operating system. But still I shall highlight it. Least recently used, that means which is the page you are not you have been used it recently, so that will be available in the cache and it will be made sure it is being used, and whichever you are not using, those pages will be transferred to the hard disk. And in the most recently used, where the pages that are being accessed most recently, they will be put into the used, right, and later it will be transferred to the hard disk. Okay, so this is how the cache management is taking place. Now as I said that the pages that are not being used, the that can't be kept in the cache because unnecessary will be loading the cache. Now how do I take out those pages from the cache, or I can say that which are already corrupted pages from the cache? So that concept what they are being having is called as flushing. Okay, please remember, they are been flushing the what you say, the cache. When they have been flushing this cache, then what are the what you say, the methods they apply for this flushing of the cache? The first one is ideal flushing, and the second one is high watermark flushing, and the third one is the forced flushing. Now you can see that here ideal flushing, where we have been having this light, or sorry, low watermark, where the data is the system is going to stop from flushing the data to the disk. Now you can check here, this high watermark flushing is been there, it is going to flush the data. And in the forced one, you can check that this is already filled, the cache is already filled, it is 100%, and based on this one, the cache is going to give a priority, and then it is going to allocate the resources. So this is how they are going to manage the resources. Moving to the next one is, how do I protect the data in the cache? As I said that in the write back cache, right through the cache, there might be the possibility that the cache might be corrupted, or it may whenever there is a power failure and all, the cache may not be working. Then how do I get that one? There are two concepts they are applying. The first one is a cache mirroring, and the second one is cache vaulting. Okay, so the first one is cache mirroring. In this cache mirroring, what they do is they are going to write the data into two independent memory cards, right? So that means whenever you write the content, it is that copy is exactly copied into the another memory location. In the cache vaulting, what they are trying to do is they are making sure that whenever the what you say, the failure of the power is there, then automatically the data will be recovered. So there is like automatic storage or auto save mode is been there, and the data will be retrieved from the that particular area. Now if I have to say, this one is very simple, like you might have seen that whenever there is a power failure, you'll ask that system to restore, the point where you have been stopped, you ask the system to restore. So this vaulting is acting as a restore point from where all you have been stopped, you have been requesting the data to regain. For example, I think you might have seen that you by mistake you close the web pages, or your system shutdowns, and then you restart, and it is going to ask you, can I restore the sessions? That means the cache vaulting is being done in this one, and it is going to restore all the pages or all the operations from where you had been stopped. Okay, so this was all about the caching. So please remember, the front end we have been discussed about. The second one was cache, where in the cache it is performing the various operations, where we have seen the structure of the cache, we have seen how the read operation takes place, we have seen how the write operation takes place with the cache, how the cache is being managed, and how the data is being protected in the cache. So this was all about the cache. And the third component, what we have been discussing about the intelligent storage system, is the backend. So this backend is directly connected to your physical disk. Now again you can see here, these are the controllers, and we have the ports from which the data is being transferred to the physical disk. Now these controllers are been helping, especially whenever the operations have to take place with the cache, from these controllers transferring the data to the ports. From these ports, the data has to be moved from the disk, and again the same way in the reverse manner also. So please remember, these controllers are to be processed or to be written in such a way that they perform the operations at a very faster rate. And these backend what you say, these controllers, or I can say these ports and all, they are helping to maintain the functionality. These especially controllers, is there any loss of the data, the performance, the availability, they have been made sure that these all the requirements are being met by the users, right? So afterwards, the last one, as we have seen, that it is the physical disk. Please make sure these physical disks are nothing but the storage systems which are providing the permanent storage of the data. And we are using the various types of the disk to store, like we are using SATA, we are using the flash drives. Okay, so there are the various disks there. You can see the various versions of the disk available for us. Now all these together are going to contribute for the what you say, the intelligent storage systems. Please remember that one, even if in this one, even one content is not working properly, then there is a direct failure of the storage system, so it is not going to act as a intelligent. Remember, when I say intelligent, it has to use its own smartness and retrieve the data to the users. So for that one, you have been programming your front end, you are programming the cache, you are programming the back end, and these physical drives where you are going to store the data. So lot of programming is involved in these, all the controllers, the ports, and then the data is being transferred to the user, and feeling that there is no more delay faced by the what you say, the server, for any type of the operations. Okay, so thank you.